Dear chosen one, you are here for God's voice. Stop scrolling for a moment and listen carefully, because what happened to you was not something you simply imagined or overreacted about. You know what they did. You remember the betrayal. You remember the disrespect. You remember the way they attacked you, misunderstood you, or tried to make you look like the problem when you were the one carrying the pain. And perhaps what hurts most is that they thought you would never recover. They thought their words would destroy your confidence. They thought their actions would leave you permanently broken. But they were wrong, my beloved child. God saw what happened when nobody else did. He saw the moments you cried privately. He saw the nights you replayed the situation in your mind, wondering why someone could treat you that way. He saw you trying to remain strong while your heart was exhausted. And there is something you need to understand today. You do not have to fight every battle with your own hands. You do not have to chase people for explanations. You do not have to spend your life proving your innocence to people committed to misunderstanding you. There is a reason you are still standing. There is a reason your story did not end where they thought it would. What they did may have wounded you, but it does not have permission to define you. And chosen one, there is something even deeper happening here. The very experience that made you question yourself may be teaching you discernment. The rejection may be teaching you boundaries. The betrayal may be showing you who deserves access to your heart. The closed door may be protecting you from returning to something that was never healthy for you. But stay with me, because the greatest revelation is not about what they did. It is about what you are going to do next. Will you allow their cruelty to turn you bitter? Or will you allow God to turn your pain into wisdom? Will you keep waiting for them to apologize? Or will you finally choose peace? My child, you cannot change what happened, but you can decide what happens next. And if you have been wondering whether God saw your tears, your silence, your humiliation, and the injustice you experienced, hear this clearly. You were never invisible to Him. So breathe deeply. Release the need to control every outcome and prepare your heart for this message. Because what they did may explain some of your pain, but it does not determine your future. Your story is still being written, and this time you are walking forward with greater wisdom, stronger boundaries, deeper faith, and a peace that their actions cannot take away. Chosen one, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because there are moments when the pain you carry is so deep that even explaining it feels exhausting. You remember what they did. You remember the words, the betrayal, the disrespect, the way they attacked you when you never deserved it. You remember how people looked at you, judged you, believed stories without knowing the truth, or stood silently while you were being treated unfairly. And perhaps the hardest part was not even what they did. It was realizing that some people were willing to hurt you and then act as though you were the problem. My beloved child, heaven has seen what happened. God knows the details you never told anyone. He saw the tears you wiped away before anyone could notice. He saw the nights when you questioned yourself and wondered, why did they do this to me? He saw you trying to remain calm while everything inside you was breaking. And today, I want you to understand something. You do not have to become like the people who hurt you in order to overcome what they did. You do not have to destroy them with your words. You do not have to chase revenge. You do not have to spend the rest of your life proving that you are innocent. There is a deeper work happening inside you, and this is where the story begins to change. What they did may have been sickening, cruel, unfair, or deeply disappointing, but it does not have the authority to define who you are. You are still here. You are still standing. You are still capable of loving, growing, praying, and moving forward. And that matters. Think about the moments when you were attacked emotionally, verbally, socially, or through betrayal. Think about the person who smiled in your face while working against you behind your back. Think about the people who misunderstood your silence and mistook your patience for weakness. Think about how easily they judged you without knowing what you had survived. Perhaps you wanted to respond immediately, but something inside you told you to step back. Perhaps you wanted to expose everything, but you chose peace. That restraint was not weakness. Sometimes wisdom looks like refusing to participate in the very chaos that wounded you. But chosen one, there is something deeper you need to recognize. Their behavior is a reflection of their choices, not a measurement of your worth. People can lie about you, but they cannot rewrite your identity. People can reject you, but they cannot erase your purpose. People can misunderstand you, but they cannot determine what God can do with your life. And if you have been asking why you had to endure this, I will not tell you that every painful event was secretly planned by God, because Scripture does not require us to call evil good. But I will tell you this: God can bring meaning, wisdom, healing, and growth out of what was meant to wound you. What looked like humiliation can become a lesson in discernment. What looked like rejection can teach you where your peace does not belong. What looked like betrayal can reveal who deserves access to your heart and who does not. And what looked like the end of your story may simply be the moment you stopped allowing other people to write it for you. Now listen closely, because this is where everything begins to shift. You may have been waiting for everyone to admit what they did. You may have wanted an apology. You may have imagined the day when every person who doubted you finally discovered the truth. And maybe that day will come in some form, but your healing cannot depend on their confession. Your peace cannot be held hostage by their understanding. Your future cannot wait for people who hurt you to suddenly become the people you needed them to be. Sometimes, closure is not hearing them say, "I was wrong." Sometimes closure is realizing, "I no longer need them to validate what I already know." My child, you can forgive without pretending it never happened. You can release bitterness without reopening the door. You can pray for someone without trusting them again. You can love people from a distance. You can establish boundaries without hatred. You can walk away without revenge. And you can let God handle the things you cannot control. There is tremendous freedom in saying, "Lord, I give you what I cannot carry anymore." Take a breath right now. Let your shoulders relax and say quietly in your heart, "God, I trust you with what happened to me. I refuse to let their actions become my identity." Chosen one, there is another layer to this. Sometimes the greatest victory is not seeing the person who hurt you fall. It is seeing yourself rise without becoming bitter. They may have expected you to break. They may have expected you to remain trapped in anger. They may have expected their words to become the voice inside your head. But you can choose another path. You can become wiser without becoming colder. You can become stronger without becoming cruel. You can become more discerning without becoming suspicious of everyone. You can protect your peace without closing your heart to everyone. This is the transformation that matters. God can use this season to teach you how to recognize healthy relationships, how to listen to your conscience, how to seek wise counsel, how to speak truth without hatred, and how to stop confusing loyalty with tolerating mistreatment. And if spiritual warfare is part of how you understand your struggles, remember this: your battle is not an invitation to hate people. Christian strength is not measured by how fiercely you attack your enemies. It is measured by your ability to remain anchored in truth, prayer, wisdom, and self-control when everything around you is trying to pull you into chaos. Jesus taught his followers to respond differently to hatred, not because injustice does not matter, but because hatred does not deserve to become the master of your heart. So do not let what they did turn you into someone you were never meant to be. You have already lost enough. Do not lose your peace, too. You have already endured their actions. Do not continue allowing their memory to control every tomorrow. Your next chapter needs your attention. Your healing needs your attention. Your purpose needs your attention. And perhaps that is the great blessing hidden inside this painful season. Not that what happened was good, but that you can emerge from it with greater wisdom, stronger boundaries, deeper faith, and a clearer understanding of your value. What they did may have exposed them, but what you do next will reveal you. Will you choose revenge, or will you choose restoration? Will you remain trapped in the past, or will you allow God to lead you forward? Will you keep asking people who wounded you to tell you that you are worthy? Or will you finally believe that your worth was never theirs to give? My beloved child, you are not the insult they threw at you. You are not the rumor they spread. You are not the rejection you experienced. You are not the betrayal you survived. You are not the worst thing someone said about you. You are a person still becoming, still learning, still healing, still walking forward. And God is not finished with you. So if this message speaks to your heart, declare this: what they did will not destroy who I am. I choose peace, wisdom, healing, and purpose. Let that be more than a comment. Let it become a decision. From this day forward, be careful about who receives access to your heart. Pay attention to patterns. Do not ignore repeated disrespect. Seek God in prayer. Seek wise counsel when you need it. Speak truth when truth needs to be spoken. And when you cannot change what happened, surrender the burden of controlling the outcome. Chosen one, you may never understand every reason someone chose to hurt you. You may never receive the apology you deserved. You may never see every consequence of their actions. But you can still move forward. You can still smile again. You can still trust wisely. You can still love. You can still build. You can still dream. You can still become everything God has placed within you. What happened was not the end. Their actions do not get the final word. Your pain does not get the final word. Their accusations do not get the final word. God has the final word over your identity, and your next chapter does not have to resemble your last one. So lift your head, beloved child. You survived what tried to silence you. You learned from what tried to break you. And now you can walk away from the chaos with your dignity intact. Let God heal the places you cannot reach by yourself. Let wisdom guide your next relationships. Let peace become your standard. Let forgiveness free your heart without forcing you back into unhealthy situations. And let your life become the evidence that pain did not have the power to destroy your purpose. If this message encouraged you, write "I choose peace" in the comments and share it with someone who has been wounded by people they trusted. Subscribe if you want more Christian encouragement and faith-filled messages for difficult seasons. And remember this, chosen one: what they did to you may have been painful, but it does not have to become the story you live forever. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still becoming. And with God leading you, there is still more ahead than what you left behind. Chosen one, there are moments in life when you have to stop asking, "Why did they do this to me?" and begin asking, "What am I learning from what happened?" Because what they did may have been cruel, unfair, and deeply painful, but their actions do not determine your worth, your identity, or the direction of your future. You may have experienced betrayal, false accusations, rejection, disrespect, gossip, or an unexpected attack from people you never imagined would turn against you. And perhaps you were shocked because you had given them trust, kindness, patience, or loyalty. You may have wondered how someone could receive your goodness and still choose to hurt you. But my beloved child, do not allow their behavior to convince you that something is wrong with you. Sometimes people respond to what they do not understand with criticism. Sometimes insecurity creates hostility. Sometimes people become uncomfortable when they can no longer influence someone who has learned to stand firmly in their own identity. That does not mean every person who opposes you is threatened by your destiny, and we should not assume we know another person's heart. But it does mean you should pay attention to patterns, seek wisdom, and recognize when a relationship repeatedly produces confusion, disrespect, manipulation, or fear. God can use even painful experiences to sharpen your discernment. What happened may have taught you to stop ignoring warning signs. It may have taught you that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your heart. It may have shown you the difference between genuine friendship and convenience, between love and control, between forgiveness and allowing someone to repeatedly mistreat you. Chosen one, perhaps you spent too much time trying to explain yourself to people who had already decided what they wanted to believe. Perhaps you kept defending your character while they kept changing the story. Perhaps you remained silent because you did not want to create more conflict, and now you are exhausted. But listen carefully. You do not have to spend the rest of your life proving that you are innocent. God knows the truth, and your responsibility is to walk in integrity, not to control everyone's opinion of you. There is freedom in realizing that you can let people misunderstand you without abandoning yourself. You can forgive without returning to the same unhealthy environment. You can establish boundaries without hatred. You can walk away without revenge. And you can trust God without pretending that what happened did not hurt. Take a moment and breathe. You survived something that once felt impossible to survive. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still capable of hope. What they did may have shaken you, but it does not have to control you. Let this experience make you wiser, not bitter, stronger, not cruel, more discerning, not fearful. Your destiny is not controlled by the people who attacked you. Your future is not cancelled because someone tried to tear you down. Keep walking, keep praying, keep choosing truth, and keep your heart anchored in God. What happened was part of your story, but it does not have to be the ending. Chosen one, what happened to you may have left a wound that nobody else could fully see, but the wound does not have to remain the definition of your life. There was a time when you may have replayed their words in your mind, questioned your decisions, wondered whether you could have done something differently, or asked God why He allowed you to experience such treatment. Maybe you wanted justice. Maybe you wanted an apology. Maybe you wanted those people to finally understand the damage they caused. But there comes a moment when healing begins to matter more than their acknowledgement. You cannot change what they did, but you can decide what their actions will produce inside you. God can take a painful experience and use it to develop wisdom, patience, courage, discernment, and a deeper dependence on Him. That does not mean the attack was good, and it does not mean you have to pretend the pain never happened. It means the pain does not get the final word. My beloved child, perhaps the greatest transformation is happening quietly. You are learning to recognize unhealthy patterns sooner. You are learning that peace is valuable. You are learning that boundaries are not hatred. You are learning that forgiveness does not require you to trust someone who has repeatedly broken your trust. You are learning that walking away from chaos can sometimes be an act of wisdom rather than weakness. And perhaps you are discovering something even more important. Your identity cannot be built on other people's approval. They may have criticized you, rejected you, mocked you, betrayed you, or tried to convince others that you were someone you were not. But they cannot decide who you become next. Chosen one, do not give them the power to follow you into your future. Do not carry their voices into every new relationship. Do not punish new people for what old people did. Do not let one betrayal convince you that everyone is dangerous. Ask God for wisdom to recognize trustworthy people while keeping your heart protected. There is a difference between being guarded by wisdom and being imprisoned by fear. You can heal without becoming cold. You can become stronger without becoming harsh. You can remember the lesson without living inside the wound. And if you have been waiting for everything to make sense, perhaps the answer is not discovering every hidden motive behind their actions. Perhaps the answer is discovering who you are becoming because you survived them. You are learning to speak when necessary, remain silent when wisdom calls for silence, leave when boundaries are violated, and stay when something is genuinely worth building. You are learning that your peace is not something you should constantly sacrifice just to keep other people comfortable. So today, release the burden of revenge. Let God deal with what you cannot control. Your job is to heal, grow, pray, and continue walking in integrity. Say this in your heart: what happened to me will not become who I am. I will carry the lesson, not the bitterness. Chosen one, the attack may have been painful, but your future can still be beautiful. You can rise from this with clearer vision, deeper faith, healthier boundaries, and a heart that refuses to become what wounded it. The people who hurt you may never understand the strength it took to recover, and they may never know how many battles you fought in silence. But you know, God knows. and that is enough to keep moving forward. Their actions may have interrupted a chapter, but they do not have the authority to write the ending. Your story is still unfolding, and there is still room for healing, restoration, purpose, peace, and a new beginning.